Okay, afternoon, boys. Now, unfortunately, Mr. Enamue was unavailable for his guest appearance, but I'll try and get him in soon to liven this show up a little bit. This lesson is just going to be on factorising and solving quadratic. So, factorising and solving. So we've looked at factorising in the previous video. If you don't remember how to do that, we'll have a brief recap, but you might want to rewatch the previous video. Then we're going to look at what solving means. Okay. So to begin, let's have a question. So factorise x squared minus 12x minus 28. Now remember, we want two numbers that multiply to make minus 28. Okay, what are these numbers? What could they be? Well, we could have minus 28 and 1, 28 and minus 1, minus 7 and 4, 7 and minus 4, 14 and, or minus 14 and 2, and 14 and minus 2. Okay, so they're all the factors of minus 28. They're the possible numbers it could be. But which ones add to make minus 12? They have to add to make minus 12. Just before that, it is black currant, by the way, is the word. So 14 minus 2, minus 14 and 2, minus 14 and 2, they add to make minus 12. So that when we factorise it, we're going to get x minus 14, x plus 2. Okay, that's the factorised form of the quadratic expression. We could check this. How do we check it? Well, we'd multiply out x minus 14, x plus 2. When we multiply that out, we use the box method, x plus 2 minus 14 times by x plus 2. I could put a box around that x plus 2, and that would be the box method we've talked about. Expanding gives me x squared plus 2x minus 14x minus 28. Combining those common terms there, we get x squared minus 12x minus 28. This is what we had as the question. Our check shows it's correct. We factorised it correctly. Great. Moving on. Question 2. Okay, the question is this. Now, it's a bit of a convoluted question, but bear with me. There is a reason for it. So, box times bubble is 0. What are the possible values of box or bubble? Okay, that's the question. Have a little think about that. Maybe pause the video for a moment while you think about that. And it is Star Trek. Okay. So, what are the possible values for box or bubble? Now we have two things that multiply together make 0. That means that one of those things has to be 0. Because when you multiply something and you get an answer of 0, one of them has to be 0. So that means that either box is 0 or bubble is 0. That's it. That's it. They're the possible values. So either box is 0 or bubble is 0. That's it. Okay? That's the question. There's a reason I've done that question. Okay? You'll find out very shortly. Okay? I'll leave you in suspense slightly longer while I draw these lines and we begin the next question. So this question says, solve x squared minus 12x minus 28 is equal to 0. What does solve mean? Well, solve means I need to find out what value of x is, what the value of x is for this equation to make sense. Okay, that's what solving is. I need to find the value of x, which makes that equation make sense. Okay, notice how this question 3 is the left-hand side of that equation, x squared minus 12x minus 28, is the same as the expression in question 1. Okay, you can see why I did question 1 now. Okay, so the first step 1, we want to factorise. Okay, we already know what it is when we factorise it because we did that in question 1. So when we factorise it, we get x minus 14 times by x plus 2 is equal to 0. Right, stop there. Stop there. Hold your horses. Keep your hats on. Let's think about this. So we have something, x minus 14, times something else, x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now, this is where it gets clever. Ooh, hold on. Let's think. What am I doing? Oh, I'm going to rewrite this. That's what I'm going to do. X minus 14 times by x plus 2 is equal to 0. Okay. Just before we move on, the time is 3:50. Okay, so I've rewritten that. And now what I'm going to do, this is the master step. I'm going to put a box around this one and a bubble around this one. Now it's the same as question 2. I've got box multiplied by bubble is 0. So if box multiplied by bubble is 0, that means that the box, x minus 14, is 0, or the bubble, x plus 2, is 0. Let's put a box around that. So the box is equal to 0, or the bubble is equal to 0. That's the same as question 2. Boom. So now we just continue. Now we've got two equations. We've got two very simple equations. The first equation is, well, x minus 14 is 0. Well, that means that x is 14. Oh, God. Let's go back. Sorry about that. Okay. And then the right-hand side there, x plus 2 is 0. Well, that just means that x is minus 2. Okay. So the solution is x is 14 or x is minus 2. Okay, so you can see question 3, I've used question 1 and I've used question 2. Okay, we could do a check now, we could check this is right. So remember, solving means I need to find the value of x that makes sense for the original equation. So, if x is equal to minus 2, I'm just going to check it with one of them. I'm just going to check x is minus 2 and see if that works. If x is minus 2, then we have to look at what the original equation is and see if it's 0. So x squared minus 12x minus 28, well that's minus 2 squared. Minus 12 times minus 2, because x is minus 2, minus 28. Continuing, if I simplify this, minus 2 squared is 4. Minus 12 times minus 2 is plus 24, minus 28. So 4 plus 24 minus 28, well that's 0. So that means the value of x makes sense. Okay? It makes sense in the original equation. The year is 1995. 1995. Okay? Right, moving on. Let's just do one more example, just so we can clarify all of these steps. Now, what I'd like you to do in the next example, really appreciate it, and I am watching. I'd like you to pause the video when I've asked the question, try it yourself, see if you can do it, and then play the video to see if you got it right. Question 4. So the question is, so we've got this equation, and I want you to solve it. Okay? Solve it. Solve for x. So if x squared minus 6x plus 8 is equal to 0, what is x? Right now, you should pause the video, you should try it yourself, you should see how you do. Okay, and I'll be back. I'll be back in just a moment. I'm not gone anywhere, but I am watching. So pause it now. Pause it. Okay, and we're back. I'm going to try and get this under 10 minutes, so I've got 2 minutes left. So the first step, remember, is to factorise. We're looking for, we know it's going to be x, we know it's going to look like this when we factorise it, we just need to know what those things are. So we're looking at the factors of 8, they multiply to make 8 and they add to make minus 6. Okay, factors of 8, well it could be minus 4 and minus 2, or it could be minus 8 and minus 1. I know it's minus 4 and minus 2 because they add to make minus 6. So it's x minus 4 times by x minus 2. Now I put this one in a box and I put this in a bubble. Okay, so from question 2 on the previous page, we know that either, oh by the way, it's train spotting. Okay, so I know that either the box is 0 or the bubble is 0. So the box is just x minus 4 and the bubble is just x minus 2. So if the box is 0, well that just means that x is 4. And if the bubble is 0, that just means that x is 2. So put an all there. Carrying on. I could check to see if this is right. I mean, that's the solution. X is 4, x is 2. That's the solution. But I could carry on. I could check it. Checking gives me, if x is 2, I'm just going to check one of them to see if it works. That means that x squared minus 6x plus 8. Well, what is that when x is 2? That's 2 squared minus 6 times 2 plus 8. 2 squared is 4. Minus 6 times 2, well, that's minus 12 plus 8. That is 0. Therefore, you know, the value of x makes sense in the original equation. Okay, I've got the solution there. We've kept it under 10 minutes, thank God. You know, I don't want to bore you. I really hope that you attempted that question. If you're looking for some more questions to practice, maybe you could check out your textbook, see if you can attempt one of these. We'll be looking over this in the lessons in the next couple of days. Okay, I think that's it for me. Have a really good evening. Don't watch this too late. I suppose it's too late though if you are watching it too late, because I should have given that advice at the start of the video. 10 minutes is up. Thank you very much for watching. See you in school.